Season 9, Episode 12, The Last Crusade. Uh, okay, so the Crusaders get credit for sending Skedaddle, who broke his paddle, in the direction of fishing, rowing, and sailing, even though he ended up with the knot tying mark from mending said paddle. How did he sail in such an inland area as Ponyville?
The lake.
Was there a lake?
Yeah, remember? I mean, that's the one that they used to get the water during Hurricane Fluttershy. That
Okay,
Pinkie Pie
maybe.
was broke the laws of physics when she dived in, but Rainbow Dash was trying to take a nap, so she just doot.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm
And
not sure
when
if
it
that's
and
deep
it,
enough for sailing, but okay. Maybe a small boat.
she dove in, so it's deep. It's at least deep enough to submerge completely.
Yeah, but just, whether it's deep enough for a sailboat. I guess if it had a shallow enough
Well,
keel, it wouldn't be a problem.
yeah, it could be just like one of those parasails, like the
It could be a
surfboard
flat
sails.
bottom and just like
Yeah,
it goes and it has just happens to have a sail.
yeah.
But uh,
Plus, they used it to ice skated across it, so it's at least wide enough to go like boat riding on.
True.
yeah, it's just very. It's a rather relatively small lake. Um, More swimming hole than. But anyway, um, so Aunt Holiday has an Aussie accent, but it feels a little like having done some Aussie accents. I know what she's doing. I kind of feel what she's doing because I've done it too, and it feels a bit breathless in places. Like there's a couple places where
It sounds more Kiwi than Aussie.
well, that general part of the world anyway.
Yeah.
That this because occasionally you catch people doing accents. I looked up to see if she was, and all I could find, there was no bio information about where she grew up or anything. The only thing, whether she was a native Australian or or she was just, you know, she's just doing the accent. She's got a lot of
Yeah.
roots in the. Her actress had a lot of roots in Vancouver, which makes sense because I think that's where they. It's a lot of where they do that kind of work, but um, yeah. Uh, but overall, it's nice anyway. I've done the same thing with getting a little breathless at certain points. She also has a sailing mark, so that seems interesting with the skedaddle doing that. Um, the CMC threw lots of ideas for Lofty's quilt, which is her talent. They are little random idea generators.
Yeah.
That's basically what they are. It's like we're really good at being random idea generators. um, which brings me to which now an interesting bit. Holiday left plenty of healthy food, and Lofty left delicious cookies. Interesting in that Holiday is the plumper of the two, while Lofty is a little thin. So,
Well,
the
that's because Pink is eating all the cookies. Also, they considering the fact that they have different accents and everything, and I really doubt that they just happen to be the sisters of the couple and being like that. They're clearly her cool gay aunts.
yeah, well, that's the thing is they did it in a way that they could easily for certain markets because they have international markets and they could easily just choose different actresses, give them the same accent, and change a line or two here and there that's more suggestive that
They're
they
sisters.
that
It was
and
it
then just
was
change it to
all
sisters and it's fine.
it was all
You
over
mean like they did with Sailor Moon and Michiru and Haruka?
Yeah, but this one makes a lot more sense if you swap it, because you could make them sisters, and it's not that, it wouldn't be that weird, but because you never really see anything, outwardly romantic from them.
It was all over the news. It's like My Little Pony introduces lesbian couple. Like it was
Excuse
everywhere.
you, Lyra and Bon Bon?
I know, but
No,
it's
they
like,
are best friends.
but then
Yeah, right.
Wink,
They're best
wink.
friends the way Crowley and Aziraphale are best
uh,
friends.
Lyra and Bon Bon and Octavia and Vinyl Scratch.
Yeah, yeah. They're best friends the way Crowley and Aziraphale are best friends.
No idea who that is, but yes.
Um, Good Omens.
Okay.
David Tennant and Michael Sheen's characters.
Well, at any rate, yeah,
Yeah,
they
she's from Vancouver. It says Vancouver's Jackie Blackmore on voicing a lesbian aunt in My Little Pony.
yeah, yeah. It's just like, I don't know what. Yeah, I'm assuming that's where she's from, because I didn't look for any interviews or anything to see what her natural accent is. But
I just Googled her name.
yeah, I looked at her IMDb and looked around a little bit and couldn't find anything about it. But yeah, they did everything but come out and say it. They implied it heavily with a few lines here and there. I forget which ones, but it's heavily implied. I mean, it's
Yeah.
basically if you can think that, but the them being lesbian is the much simpler solution to the entire problem. It's like, well, what are they? Well, this or that. And it's like, well, this makes a lot more sense given what they said, but I
Plus,
guess you could interpret it that way if it really bothered you.
yeah. Although it genuinely says that they're lesbians.
Well, did it say? I don't think it
No,
implied
not
it
in
in the
not
not
in
in
the
show, but like
episode.
out of show.
Out of
Okay,
show,
Word
like
of God sort of thing, where it's
yeah,
like, yeah, they are, and just that sort of
yeah.
thing, where
The
it's
the actress herself
okay.
says, yeah,
Well,
they're lesbians.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's they don't. I mean, they don't pull the best friends card out here, but they but they do imply it so hard, it's ridiculous. If you don't, if to come up with any other inference on the thing. Um. Yeah, so I guess Holiday is eating the cookies, and Lofty's making the cookies, and Holiday is eating the cookies, and that's why Holiday's a little more plump than Lofty.
Yep.
Uh, so the cakes, then Rarity, then Rainbow Dash will watch Scootaloo. Um, but with all that prepared, Scootaloo finds a postcard that her parents will return today. Excited is the understatement of the century.
My parents are coming home today. My parents are coming home today.
Yeah, she can't focus in class. It seems to be the beginning of the day, and she says, well, like, I forget what she said, but something else came up and said that, oh yeah, when they come in and do all that, well, while Scootaloo's all distracted, like, okay, we'll save that for after lunch. So this is the morning. Um, but she's corralling everyone in. She has to put the weather until after lunch because Scootaloo won't stop. won't stop.
Won't focus.
Yeah, won't focus. It's like just and goes to show and tell, and appropriately, it's appropriately is So her parents accidentally help her with a crocodile appearing during her show and tell. But one thing before I get into that, Cheerly says the Weather Factory specializes in rain and snow, which is understandable because that's
Yeah.
something you produce. but she also claims it works on sunshine. That's like saying when a
Well,
restaurant closes for the night, they produce no food. It's like, yes,
well, I
technically
mean,
not doing
they
anything does produce sunshine.
also, I mean, technically the weather factory people probably are the ones who clear the clouds.
Well, no, that seemed to be from what Rainbow Dash was doing. Like, it seems to be a local thing rather than a centralized thing. Like, there's a weather person in charge of the weather, and Dash was in charge of the weather in Ponyville at the beginning. You know, it's supposed to be clear. Where's the weather pony that's supposed to be taking care of this? And it's like, I can clear it in 10 seconds flat, and she does. And it seemed like it's sort of, they've got agents all over the country to handle the weather, but they don't really, you know, the weather station itself, the manufacturing plant, the factory that exports all the rain and snow and whatnot, you know, they don't produce sunshine so much as when they stop producing clouds to send to some place, that place just gets sunshine. That's just what happens when they don't do anything. But anyway, I've got a little pedantic here. Yeah, our parents accidentally helped Scoots with their show and tell with a crocodile on the loose, which eats was at Apple Bloom's desk. Um, uh, while the rest of the students are skeptical, um, they initially about her saying what her parents do. It's too dangerous. I'd go with them, but it's too dangerous. Like when that happens, they're like, "Mm-hmm, yep, mm-hmm."
Most kids, when they say stuff like that, it's just a cover for, yeah, my daddy walked out on me when I was 5. He's off saving the world. He's a superhero.
No, I just had to buy a pack of smokes. He'll be back.
Yeah.
Yes, the Nelson Muntz.
I have no idea what that means, but
Simpson's character.
Mm.
I think that was something that he had to deal with. But yeah. Also find it interesting that we learn later on that they only care about the rare and and the special creatures. And he
Why
pulls in a
didn't they put
crocodile, but there's crocodiles in the Everfree. Like,
Yeah,
it's like at least one we know of. I mean, probably a lot,
and that swamp creature.
but
And they have Discord whenever they need him. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, why don't you just call Discord and say, Discord, can you cause some trouble and make up some sort of monster for my parents to come have to find, just so that,
yeah, she could stay here. Eh, John Delancey's expensive. Sorry, I can't come. They write a letter to Discord, but it gets lost in the mail or he sends it back. Sorry, I'm too expensive. We don't have the budget to bring in John Delancey again. Again so soon. So going over them, word from like production people was that actually, it was given Maine Goodall. It was supposed to be sort of the inspiration was supposed to be
Goodall.
Jane Goodall and Steve Irwin. It was actually supposed to be that. But
Yeah.
Jane Goodall is British, from what I understand. So
Mm-hmm.
why, if you're gonna do that, why does Maine Goodall have an American accent?
Because the whole Terry.
Yeah. But
it
yeah,
isn't.
that was what I was about to get into is that it ends up being more like you were saying, like the Irwins. It
Yeah,
becomes more
it's too too similar to the Irwins.
Yeah, it seems it rather than main Jane Goodall, it seems like it's just the Irwins.
Yeah.
um, which is cool anyway.
Yeah.
Snapshotter's an Earth Pony and Australian, which probably means Holiday is his sister, which we find out later that she's his elder sister, I believe. I'll have the note at the end.
I think so.
Yeah. He has a Dundee hat and is supposed to be based on Steve Irwin. This means Scoots is also half Aussie. Maybe that's why she had some extra affinity for the washouts. Main Goodall is Pegasus and supposed to be based on Jane Goodall, though she has no British accent, so she seems more like Terry Irwin, which is the notes I wrote. Cheerily is visibly shaken and dismisses class for the day.
Poor Shirley.
I mean, the stuff she has to deal with.
I know. Although you'd think she'd be used to it by now with those three.
Like, just send me to the glue factory already.
Anyway, over Sunday, Scoots revealed that the CMC might teach a class at some point at her friendship school. Though that it comes from Twilight, so who knows whether she'll actually when that will be allowed. It's like, yeah, we want you to be a little bit more on in years before we do that. Which over Sundays the parents drop the bomb that they took a job where they can all live together. But Shire Lanka is far away and there'll be a train ride only once a month. For continuity, the return of Sombra and the destruction of the elements gave them the push to not be so far away from Scoots.
Yeah, they're for places named after real places, their placement is very weird. Because Shire Lanka, you would think Sri Lanka, which is in Asia.
Mm.
That is more than a train ride away.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. I mean,
especially since you'd consider, you would think that with all of the similar names and stuff, aside from Canterlot, most of the places in Equestria are named after American.
Yeah, or American or Canadian.
Well, that's
basically it's based off of North America. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which apparently Mexico is the Dragonlands.
They eat a lot of salsa. They like it hot.
With Gaga Binks. Anyway.
I drew it. I just need to color it.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure whether I should color it Jar Jar Binks colors because I used so much of Gargar.
Anyway, yeah, the inside joke or reference from a previous thing, given that his Garble's nickname is Gargar. So, anyway, Dash interrupts the CMC having a crying session about their imminent breakup with Wonderbolt tickets for next week's show. It's like, that's not the reaction I was expecting. So, in front of Rainbow Dash, they craft a plan to make up a fictional creature to give her parents something to research. Right there in front of Dash. But she doesn't say anything except to wonder if they still want the tickets.
Yeah. That's kind of the reason why they didn't mind. Because they're like, what's Dash going to be? What's Dash going to do? She wants her to stay too.
Yeah, but you think she would have said, you know what, we should probably think about a more mature way of dealing with the situation. Because this isn't going to work. And save him some time and embarrassment. The plan works about as well as can be imagined, and the costume breaks down. The parents don't really discipline or talk to her about what's going on. They just remark about there being a lot to do before the house goes up for sale. It's like just completely unfazed. And then we get this interesting little exchange that, Sweetie Belle, we're the only 3 ponies in Equestria with the same cutie mark. Applebloom, the chances of that are so rare, it means we belong together forever. And then Snapshot comes back, yeah, but you don't have the same cutie mark. Sure we do, look. Well, this part is the same, but the picture inside each of these is different. I think it means you'll stay best friends no matter where you go. And that's really special. Skulu. But how do you argue with that? It's like, yeah, technically you have the core of it is, yes, the same, but they're not exactly the same, cutie mark. Which is still a big deal. But, of course, Apple Bloom goes to potions to try and keep them together, which is, with their track record with potions.
Yeah.
I mean, Apple Bloom did have Twilight Time where she did, work on her potion, her Snape. But it turns out to be a binding spell. But they could enter a 10-legged race.
Yeah.
Yeah, it surprised me. They try chaining themselves to a post, but it's easily removed by the realtor. Like, the realtor just sort of, like, pulls the... Which, that house doesn't stay on the market very long. Ponyville must be a hot property right now.
Oh, yeah.
Which is strange, given the constant monster attacks. Which brings me back to Slice of Life. Is it a friendship problem, or is it a monster attack? No, but it'll at least take another half hour to clear this up. We'll have it cleared up in a half hour or something like that. Snapshutter, we just sold the house, Scoot. I know this is hard to accept, but just, Scootaloo, it's more than hard. It's not fair. You're making me pick between my family and my friends. Oh, Scootaloo, moving away won't stop you three from caring about each other. Why don't you sleep over with Sweetie Belle and Apple Bloom tonight? It'll give you a chance to say a real goodbye. Scootaloo, but I don't want to say goodbye. You're changing my whole life without even asking how I feel. And she cries. The parents are visibly saddened. Scoots runs off to catch a train to her aunt's house. She misses the train to Shire Lunka. It'll be a month before they can come back and retrieve her. Apple Bloom, then we're coming with you. Scootaloo, are you sure? I don't want to get you in trouble. Here's something that's interesting. Sweetie Belle, Rarity won't be mad. Apple Bloom, Applejack neither. I bet she'd do the same thing for her friends. Okay, Sweetie Belle, why are you worried about what Rarity thinks? You have parents. We've seen them on numerous occasions. Do you just live with Rarity now? Is that what this is? It's like, why are you worried about what Rarity thinks? Like, Apple Bloom, yeah, Applejack is essentially mom to her.
Yeah.
She's mom/sister. So, Applejack getting mad at her is like mom getting mad at her.
Yeah.
But Sweetie Belle, you don't live with Rarity, from what we can tell. I mean, you visit her, and you might stay with her when your parents are out of town, but you live with your parents still. Your parents are alive and well, from everything we can tell. Unless something drastic happened between seasons, and we didn't cover it. You live in, and it's not like they live far away. They live in Ponyville. That's why you're part of the CMC anyway, because you live in Ponyville. So I don't understand that particular line, but maybe the Dubuque didn't realize that she has parents. Thought that she was dealing with an Apple Bloom situation when she's dealing with, just they're not shown very often.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one character in that group that actually has parents that we've seen that live in Ponyville permanently. Like one, like Apple Bloom.
Maybe they're traveling sales ponies or something.
And she stays with Rarity a lot? I don't know.
Yeah, just like her auntie. Just like Scootaloo and her aunties.
I don't know. Yeah. Hondo I think his was football was his cutie mark, so maybe he's a sports pony, and he spends a lot of time on the road, and so his, Cookie Crumble goes with him, and they when he goes on a road trip to play an away game, she comes with him, and so they leave. But Sweetie Belle doesn't want to come along, so they leave her with Rarity. I don't know.
Or maybe they're just away at that moment.
Yeah, that could also be the case. There's, Rarity won't get mad. She's the one looking after her at the moment. But anyway, so we got the quilt, and we get a lot of creatures that they've helped. So we see Big Mac's Mark from Hard to Say Anything. Feathers for Gabby. Tendertap's Mark from On Your Marks. Babseed from Babseed. The core of their marks, so that's just there. Diamond Tiara Silver Spoon from Crusaders of the Lost Mark. Pipsqueak, again, Crusaders of the Lost Mark. And Featherbangs, Gator Mark from Hard to Say Anything Again. It's mostly Crusaders of the Lost Mark and Hard to Say Anything, plus On Your Marks in the episode Gabby was from. But we get this little exchange. No, Scoo's parents are the only ones in Pony in Equestria that can do what they do, right? Zulu, right. Well, so are we. Our cutie marks prove it. Sweetie Belle, yeah, our job is to help other ponies find their purpose. Scoo and no pony else can do that. So if my parents split us up, it'd just be as bad as them quitting their jobs. CMC, woohoo, laughing, and then Apple. Now, how do we explain that to them? Oh, you don't have Aunt Holiday. Oh, you don't have to explain it. Auntie Lofty, they will. So they gather all the ponies that they've helped over the years. They managed to get quite a few, like lots of them, and they there's a 3-hoofed key to the city from Mare and a full Wonderbolt salute. It's like,
damn.
Okay, yeah, that's a heck of a thing to put together, but it's not like they don't have
done it.
What? Yeah, well, it's not like they don't have connections. I mean, I'm sure Mare realizes what the CMC do for all the, for all the kids, and you got Rainbow Dash, who is a Wonderbolt, so only getting about 3 of them in. It's a stretch, but if they didn't have anything to do and they wanted, hey, it'll be practice. We can use it as practice, and it won't really matter. And then you got all the. They're amazing at getting characters into town that quickly, because they got a hold of Trouble Shoes and Gabby and Terramar and all
Babs
and Babs. They had all of those ponies in, and others. Everyone in from like all over the place, just to be there for that moment. It's like, hey, I want to help her out. And I'm sure that it was that sort of situation, but just getting everybody there was a heck of an ordeal, I imagine. So yeah, lots of ponies come out to impress upon the Wonder parents that they are important as a group. We found out, yeah, he is the younger brother of Holiday. We get this exchange. Snapshutter, turns out you're just like us, Scoot. You have an important job that only you can do. You love it, and it helps all of Equestria. Well, mostly Ponyville, but it does occasionally branch out. Maine, all good. Sometimes that means missing out on other things you love, like watching our daughter grow into a pony we're very proud of. Snapshutter, which is a long way to say, Scoot, if you want to stay, we understand. To which her aunts are moving to Ponyville, and Scoots will stay with them for the time being. If the show were continuing after this season, if there was more going on in a later season, that's just they could start a zoo for the exotic animals and work in partnership with Fluttershy's refuge. And that this really turn into a, really turn into the Irwins. But that was a heck of a lot of lore, kind of stuffed into one little episode burrito, which is kind of neat. And I'm glad that they didn't end the show without at least introducing all the CMC parents, all the main 6 parents, I think. Yeah, because AJ, we got Perfect Pair. Pinky, we got several episodes with her parents and the rest of her family. Dash, we got hers. Fluttershy, we got hers. Rarity.
Twilights, we got a little glimpse of them.
Yeah, well, they don't talk much. We Crystalline, I think that we saw them for a bit, but they don't.
And we
don't
saw
get
them
much
at
in the way.
we saw them a little bit at the wedding and the coronation.
Yeah, they appear a lot, but they don't really. You don't get a
Talk.
really strong idea of. Well, they did get, though. There was that time on the airship, so
Yeah,
you got a little more out of them there, but yeah, I mean, we've gotten now all the major characters their parents have been explained. We had all the main 6. Have at least been shown in some way, shape, or form. Even if they don't show up often, they show up at some point. Because I'm not sure when the last time we saw Hondo Flanks and Cookie Crumbles, but yeah, so it was nice to finally see Scoot's not an orphan. Her parents just don't spend a lot of time in town.
Yep. About almost 9 seasons worth.
Well, we don't know whether during that time that when they've had a moment, they've come back, and we just weren't focusing on them when they were there, like during,
the Cutie Mark Crusaders aren't in every episode.
Yeah, they're not in every episode, and so
See,
during an Applejack episode, like Applejack's Day Off, they could be right there when that happens. Like, it's like, they could be doing something else. So
anytime a character's not in an episode, they are in a void of existential crisis and dread.
Well, there's no.
That explains the severe depression of many of the ponies that they secretly have.
Yep.
But yeah. But it was cute. It had its moments. It's gonna have its controversy with the aunts, but that's about as mild as you could, as innocuous as you can get with having them in there. It's like, yes, they exist. They're over there. It's like, we're not throwing a bunch of stuff in your face. It's just like, they're there. But yeah, overall, fun episode. There's a few wasted moments here and there with they kind of kill time. It feels like the whole thing with the potion and the fake creature felt like they were kind of tacked on in there to just sort of pad out the run length, because it just wasn't quite long enough, so they needed like a quick scene to pad it out, because that didn't really advance the plot any, but it just sort of padded it out. But the rest of it was nice.
Yeah.
Any final things to say about The
No,
Last Crusade?
it was a good episode.
Yeah, it wasn't like it's not. I don't have anything negative or positive. I literally my only note was, dude, she's
Alright.
Bindi Irwin.
Yes.
That was literally the only note I had.
Crocky!
Crikey, she's Bindi Irwin.
Also explains her her love of adventure and danger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nope, that's a family trait.
Mhm.
Which she seems to be also be. It's also an interesting thing. Is it also basically it confirms her as an only child,
Yeah.
which is interesting because Dash is also an only child. So it's kind of interesting. You know, they may not be siblings, but they both share that they're only children. But anyway, turns out the 3 pages wasn't a complete page. It was like the little snippet at the top of the 3rd page. So, all right. Well, I have nothing further to discuss about this. Any other thoughts?
Nope.
All right.